This is truly insane, ladies and gentlemen. The richest company in the world. BlackRock KK is buying up billions of XRP Ripple coins while everyone else is panicking. BlackRock KK is taking bold action. This is one of the most bullish signals of all time. Experts are saying the price of XRP could skyrocket to $4,300. Pretty cool, right? Don't miss this opportunity. Let's break it down. Step-by-step posts on X, formerly Twitter, have fueled the speculation. One tweet from Crypto Man claimed BlackRock's K is secretly buying Ripple, while CryptoGeek suggested BlackRock K begins buying $9 trillion in XRP, and Stevie declared BlackRock K has officially entered the game. Music at the heart of all this excitement is one major question: will there be an XRP ETF? The financial world is buzzing with speculation, and investors everywhere are eager to know what the future holds for this digital asset. And will BlackRock AK, one of the world's largest and most influential asset managers, be the one to launch it, potentially changing the landscape of crypto investing? To understand why this matters so much, you first need to know what an ETF is and why it's such a big deal in the investment world. In simple terms, an ETF, or exchange-rated fund, is a regulated financial product that's traded on stock exchanges, just like regular stocks. It allows investors to gain exposure to an asset like a stock commodity or even a basket of different assets, all through a single investment. With an ETF, you can even invest in cryptocurrencies without actually holding the asset, directly making it easier and more accessible for everyone. So, for example, if someone decides to invest in an XRP ETF, they're not actually purchasing XRP tokens directly through a cryptocurrency exchange or holding the coins themselves. Instead, what they're really doing is buying shares of a professionally managed fund that holds XRP on their behalf, making the process much more streamlined and accessible. This approach is honestly much safer and easier, especially for traditional investors who want exposure to XRP but prefer to avoid the technical challenges and risks of managing digital wallets, private keys, and security themselves. Music. Now just imagine that ETF is backed by BlackRock K, the world's largest asset manager, with a reputation for moving markets and shaping global finance. This financial juggernaut controls over 11 trillion in assets, giving it immense power and influence over the direction of the entire financial industry. So when BlackRock CK filed for a Bitcoin ETF, it wasn't just another application, it really changed everything and sent shockwaves through the crypto world. Suddenly, institutional investors, who had been sitting on the sidelines hesitant and cautious now, had a trusted and regulated vehicle to confidently enter the market. And well, as a result, Bitcoin's price just exploded, reaching new heights and drawing even more attention from both Wall Street and Main Street. When BlackRock CK moved into Ethereum, the same pattern followed. The firm's reputation for regulatory discipline and long-term strategy really makes its actions a signal to the rest of the financial world. If BlackRock KK were to launch an XRP ETF, it would legitimize XRP in a way that, honestly, few other moves could. Ripple's long legal battle with the SEC is largely over, with courts having ruled that XRP is not a security when sold on public exchanges. That ruling really opened the door for institutional interest to return. But regulatory uncertainty still lingers. While BlackRock CK stays quiet, other players have in Gayscale, 21 Shares, and Franklin Templeton have all filed or hinted at interest in launching XRP-related ETFs. The SEC, as expected, has been slow to respond, delaying decisions and signaling continued hesitance to fully embrace XRP speculation. Aside, it's worth thinking about what would actually happen if BlackRock CK pulled the trigger. First, it would give mainstream investors easy access to XRP through platforms like Fidelity or Charles Schwab. No need to touch a crypto exchange. Third, it would massively boost confidence in XRP's future. An ETF would also bridge the gap between crypto and traditional finance. Most people don't want to deal with cold wallet seed phrases or navigating decentralized platforms. ETFs solve that. They wrap crypto into something familiar, regulated, and secure. That's why the idea of an XRP ETF is so exciting. Not just for investors, but for the long-term adoption of digital assets. And of course, experts are already predicting a jaw-dropping future for XRP's price. Trust me, you are not ready for what's coming next. Just scroll through X and you'll find statements that feel more like prophecies than posts. XRP is about to explode, wrote Steph. Another user, Echo, confidently claimed, XRP will flip Bitcoin. And then there's the shockwave of a prediction from AIX 4300. XRP becomes a real scenario. At first glance, these sound like the usual crypto hype, but there's a growing sense that this time things might actually be different. One conversation that recently caught the XRP community's attention took place between influencers King Curran and Xena XRP. King Curran posed a bold question. Do you really believe XRP can hit $10,000? These were once crazy projections, too. She admitted she had personally bought Bitcoin at $200 and Ethereum at $5. These aren't casual follows. They're signals, and the message that Bearable Guy 123 has pushed for years persevere at the core of her argument lies a choice. Do you trust the skeptics on X, or do you trust the builders who created XRP? Arthur Britta, Ripple's elusive co-founder, once said that XRP was designed to reach $10,000, even if that's off by a factor of 10. The implication is clear, and it would be a crime not to talk about Ripple's partnerships. While everyone's focused on charts and predictions behind the scenes, Ripple is quietly taking over the financial world, one major institution at a time. Ripple's recent integration with Wormhole marks a monumental stride toward making XRP a truly global and interoperable digital asset. David Schwartz, Ripple's CTO and co-creator of the XRP ledger, couldn't stress enough how vital interoperability is for mass adoption. He highlighted that for XRP to become a dominant player, it can't just live on a single chain. It has to be part of a broader ecosystem where tokens and applications can move seamlessly. So this integration means that XRP-based decentralized apps can now interact with DeFi platforms on Solana, Ethereum, and others, which honestly vastly increases the scope and scale of what can be built for investors. And users, this can translate into increased demand and wider adoption, which have historically been key drivers of price appreciation now. By unlocking cross-chain functionality, XRP can appeal even more to enterprises seeking secure, compliant, and truly interoperable solutions. As XRP becomes usable across multiple chains and financial systems, it naturally gains more real-world utility, creating a feedback loop that drives interest and investment. This cross-chain bridge opens the door for Ripple to expand its influence well beyond its current footprint, potentially igniting the kind of global adoption that could send XRP's price soaring to new heights. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Please do your own research and consult with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.